On this first Sunday after the spring equinox, as the earth is turning and turning, we gather together.
Regardless of what is happening in the world, round and round the earth turns, around on its own axis and around the sun. Round and round the earth is turning, turning, always into morning, when from morning is night.
We can trust in nature, trust in the earth to reach a point in its rotation this time each year, where we in the northern hemisphere begin to tip toward the sun and experience more light than night.
Round and round the earth is turning, turning, always into morning, and from morning into night. We can remind ourselves and each other of the solace that nature offers us, the slow carving of a canyon, the starlight that reaches us millennia after departing its origin, a scale of time so different from human time, the vast expanse of which we are but a small part. Round and round the earth is turning, turning, always into morning, and from morning into night. Round the earth is turning, turning, always into morning, and from morning into night. Round the earth is turning, turning, always into morning, and from morning into night.
Good morning. I'm Lindsay Dunckel, a member of this congregation, and along with my worship team colleague Elizabeth Rose, honored to be guiding our time together this morning. As a way of protecting this special time we set aside, won't you please take a moment to make sure that your cell phones are silenced? I invite those on Zoom to drop their greetings to one another into the chat, and those in the sanctuary and those in the chanting room to greet one another with kindness and care, being aware to include everyone who would like to be included in the ways in which they would like to be included. Won't you greet one another? Good morning. Acorns serve as a reminder both of the Nisenan people upon whose land we gather, who once relied on acorns as an important food source, and as a reminder of emergent potential. This simple seed could sprout and grow into a great oak tree. We place these acorns on our altar to remind ourselves that as residents or visitors in Nisenan land, we actively work to support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as the campaign to restore tribal sovereignty through federal recognition.
The earth is turning, turning, always into
We gather today to hear the call of trust. Though our hearts have been bruised by broken promises and dreams deferred, may we listen again for that longing to repair and be repaired, that hunger to start anew. Like this flame, trust is something that needs rekindled again and again. May today spark the fire of a new match.
As a ritual acknowledgement and reminder, we've adopted and adapted the practice begun this winter at the UU Society of Sacramento, the practice of lighting what we're naming a candle of compassion, resistance, and resilience. Compassion for ourselves as well as those suffering and those with whom we disagree. Resistance when we know people and life-sustaining structures are being placed in harm's way. Resilience, our own, yes, but also the resilience of this entire ongoing human effort to be individuals in community right here and in our neighborhoods, in our nation, in our world. Sometimes it's a little hard to get that candle of compassion lit. Part of spring is always rain, and we are going to make a rainstorm, a sonic rainstorm here this morning. So we'll start with a gentle drizzle, we'll work up into a full thunderstorm, and then back down to a drizzle. So I ask you to imitate the gestures that I'm making, and in the whole room, we will hear the rain begin, peak, and end. And now we will send some of the light of our chalice upstairs with our young people as they go on their way to Kids Connection, and we will sing them on their way.
Welcome, everyone, here in the sanctuary, in our chanting room, and those joining us on Zoom. We continue with our March theme of trust. Today, we're going to dig into the idea of trust in nature. Dig, see what I did there? I know there are a lot of other changes you might be thinking about, but let's take a short break from all of that and reflect on this beautiful new season of spring that is upon us. The spring equinox occurred on March 20th. On that day, the sun moved directly over the Earth's equator, the central line between the North Pole and the South Pole. bringing almost equal minutes of daylight and darkness all around the globe. Now we are experiencing more light in our day. Well, at least as far as sunlight goes. Spring invites us to plant new seeds and embrace these tender shoots of new growth and new possibilities. In this season, you might notice feelings of readiness for something more. You may feel re-energized or a sense of emerging spark of creativity. You may discover new parts of you that are reaching towards the light of your awareness. The intensity of this awakening might evoke a quickening, a sense of urgency as you make way for new life that is ready to be born within you. Like fingerprints, though, no two people have the same brain anatomy, so this season of change may not be as welcoming for some. How do you tune into nature? Hiking, gardening, enjoying the river, or perhaps just sitting and being in nature? Funny thing about just being, when I was in my early 20s, I was sharing what my life was like with my Catholic priest. He asked me if I practiced just being. I honestly had no idea what he was talking about. Thankfully, I have since learned the benefits of just being and doing exercises to calm my nervous system. I'd like to invite you, as you're willing and able, to enjoy a shoulder stretch with me. We're just gonna do a big squeeze, exaggerated, and release. And maybe go forward. Oh. Okay, and just one more for good measure. Feel good? I hope so. As we see the change going on in our country, you may be wondering what to fight and what to surrender to. Nature offers a profound wisdom that encourages us to relinquish control and trust the flow of life. Just as trees shed their leaves in autumn to prepare for winter's rest, we too must learn to let go of what no longer serves us. Surrendering to change means recognizing that every ending makes a way for a new beginning. What does surrender look like for a river, like our Yuba? Every year the river faces obstacles. It navigates around rocks and bends, adapting effortlessly while maintaining its course. Trusting the journey means recognizing that life will present challenges, but like water, we can adapt and find our way through them. Surrendering to this process allows for a more harmonious existence, where we can respond more fluidly rather than reactively. For a meditative practice, you might consider visualizing yourself as a river, flowing past obstacles rather than getting stuck or battling against them. Consciously practicing flexibility in your thoughts and actions can be a way to embody the fluidity of water. Surrendering does not mean giving up. It means accepting our circumstances and finding ways to grow within them. Like trees that endure harsh weather with their deep roots that anchor them firmly while allowing their branches to sway freely with the wind. They exemplify the balance between stability and flexibility. We can learn to trust a more profound sense of acceptance and flow from nature, transforming ourselves into active participants who navigate life's currents gracefully rather than resistively, and hopefully finding tranquility in our minds even when external circumstances are turbulent. As spring brings us more light, what will you plant to nourish and strengthen your core roots as we navigate this changing season together? Martin Luther King said, Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. As we embark on new possibilities this season, let us remember what Rev Kevin asked us last week. What is love asking of you?
Wild Earth by Maxima Kahn, from her book of poems, Fierce Aria. Wild earth, wild sky, how many times have the stars sung my name, and I failed to listen? How many years have the trees been longing for my embrace, while I stood apart? How long has the earth risen to meet me, and all things conspired to bring forth my true unfolding, while I stumbled into walls muttering, alone, alone, alone. Worn thin, guarding against the worst, all the while the earth calling for my touch? Since the day of my birth, the river has been flowing, ready to carry me, while I paddled furiously, mustering my will. Now my heart breaks open, hearing the singing, leaning my face against the cool of a rock that reaches for me. The structures that held my life, the false edifices of fear, obligation, and guilt give way. And I stand in wonder, humbled, not knowing who I am.
I invite you to stretch your arms if you need. Take a few deep breaths. Settle yourselves comfortably in your chair. Feel the ground under your feet, holding us all up wherever we may be. I invite us to embrace the sounds of new life that we hear, that make a wonderful part of this spring celebration. If you are comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes or lower and soften your gaze as you listen to these words written by Sharon Delgadillo of the UU Fellowship of Wayne County, Ohio. March, that time of year when we never are quite sure what each day will bring. The season when snow can cover the ground, the mud can cover your shoes, and the rain can turn to ice without warning. During that tumultuous weather, magic begins to happen. It is the time of resurrection. And so today, I hope you will join me as we try to take the magic of spring and create some mindful intentions for our lives. I'm going to ask you to take a very deep breath with me. As you sit, plant your feet on the floor and stretch your spine to the sky. Get comfortable and let's take a deep, deliberate breath again. As you begin to take each breath, feel your lungs begin to swell and lift your chest. Reach down to your core or belly button and find any pain, sorrow, anxiety, loneliness, and lethargy that you may feel. Sit with it for a moment. Feel it deeply. And then on your next breath, as you exhale, release those emotions. Whatever it is that is held in your heart, imagine it is becoming a small bird. And with your next exhale, release it and set it free. Will you take a journey with me? Close your eyes and let us meet in a field of white snow. This is the kind of snow that has a crunchy layer on the top of it, so that your feet do not make a deep impression. And as you stand on that white, crunchy surface, I invite you to take another deep breath. This time, inhale the cold winter air and the sharpness of it as you bring it deep into your lungs. Allow yourself to sit with the sensation for just a moment, and as you release and exhale, you begin to feel your breath become warm. And you notice that the sun is shining on your face. Allow your mind to begin to travel down your body. Your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your hips, your thighs, your calves, to your feet, and finally to the ground. There are places where the snow has melted, where small mounds of mud and dead plants appear next to spots of snow. The mosses begin to come to life. The Canada goose calls. The salamanders and frogs begin to move. The roots of the first flowering plants begin to stretch and reach deeper into the earth for nourishment. Maybe it's skunk cabbage, a trillium, or a snowdrop. Tiny ants, beetles, and other insects begin to emerge. The earth is awakening. Even beneath the cold, still snow, life is bursting, preparing for the next season. As you slowly begin to leave that space, bring the sun's warmth, the budding trees, and the emerging life in your heart space, and let it breathe there. Take one more deep breath, pulling all that energy of new life into your heart space.
Spirit of life, source of being, open our hearts and minds to all that is possible in this season of liminality. This in-between season, sometimes winter, sometimes nearly spring, not quite one nor the other. Beneath the crust of the earth, seeds and bulbs lay in store. Some crocus and daffodil have dared to pierce the surface, braving to become the next iteration of self, a new bloom. On the forsythia and magnolia branches, petals curl into themselves, swelling into uncertain buds, waiting for the optimal conditions of light and warmth and rain to unfold into their potential for beauty and delight. On the bare branches of maple, oak, and elm, tiny leaves are invisibly budding, readying themselves for their debut. A new wardrobe for a new season. We too are waiting to grow again. Like perennial plants and deciduous trees, we don't grow along a single trajectory. From infancy through childhood to the full bloom of adulthood and the wider unfolding of elder years. Rather, we grow anew year upon year in seasons and cycles. In the cold and dark of winters, real and metaphorical, we hunker down, seek shelter and stillness, conserve energy so that new vitality can germinate. In this liminal season, we are waiting for signs of longer light, lasting warmth, and quenching rains, waiting to grow again anew. What new growth is budding in you, readying itself to make its debut, to adorn the world with new beauty and delight? Can you hear it singing?
Indeed, what new growth is budding in you? What are you ready to let go of that is no longer serving you to make way for that new growth? In a moment, I will invite you forward with those in the chanting room invited to come into the sanctuary to participate. We'll have a chance to ritualize the casting off of something by placing a stone in the bowl of water and then selecting a seed, making a hole in the soil with a chopstick, making Elizabeth work with two hands, dropping a single seed into that hole and pinching the dirt closed over it. As we symbolically cast off something old and plant a seed to cultivate something new, we'll hold space for one another and for the feelings that arise by maintaining our silence as Toby plays some accompaniment for these rituals. For those watching at home, I encourage you to sit with these questions. What new growth is budding in you? And what are you ready to let go of? As you listen to the music and perhaps place an O as a symbolic stone and a period as a symbolic seed in the chat. I invite you to come forward when you're ready. So many seeds now nestle in spring soil, along with our best intentions. They will be cared for by volunteers over the next few weeks as they actually grow, a visual representation of what is budding in us this spring season. And then they will be planted in our side garden when the threat of frost has passed. Please come and collect some before you leave if you would like to nurture some of these seedlings for the next few weeks and bring them back in May. We hope that many of you will volunteer to care for them. Thank you for co-creating this holy moment of hope, of emergence, of resilience.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. 50% of our offering this month will support interfaith food ministry, which envisions a community where no one ever feels the hurt of hunger, and whose mission is to reduce food insecurity in Nevada County by feeding the hungry and helping to sustain good health and human dignity. Please see the slide for other ways to give. May we give in love and in hope. May the greeters come forward. donations are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of UUCM. Each time you give, you renew this commitment, and as a result, your support is entwined with all that we believe and all that we do here together. This is its own special gift. In the spirit of trust and generosity, we gratefully accept your offering.
Thank you. Always so many thank yous. Thank you to all of you for making this sacred space together. Thank you, Elizabeth Rose, for co-creating with me. What fun. To our readers, Marianne Currington, Patricia Wolf, and Sasha Kirkman-Hood, thank you. And Patricia Wolf, a special thank you for procuring and preparing our seeds and our soil so we could have that magic. To Paul and Cypress in the back doing our audio visual. And Eileen on our chat, thanks for making a welcoming space for those who are joining us virtually. Shanti for the gorgeous spring setting, thank you. To Jim and Laura and Liana for greeting, for our lay pastoral care person, Corey, and Cheryl Spalding and Shannon Dooley Miller are upstairs with our youngest today. And thanks to all who brought and set up refreshments, Cynthia, Jenny, Marianne, and Cassandra, thank you. And Toby. As always, thank you to Toby for our the music that weaves it all together. This week at UUCM, UU History is continuing. I hear great things. That's on Tuesday evening. The Parkinson's support groups are meeting. The Arts and Crafts Circle is this Friday. And Phil Horning has his artist reception for the new show in the library next Sunday, right after the service. The pledge campaign is underway. Get your pledge cards into the office or make your pledge online. Thank you. And as always, you can check out our uugrassvalley.org to learn about upcoming services and all kinds of things that we do here. And I'll put in a special plug for the youngish adult gathering next Sunday. 20s and 30s are going to gather in the foyer and go to coffee after the service. Won't you please stand as you're willing and able and join in singing our closing song.
Still my cry
As spring arrives and as the seeds we planted begin to grow, in the words of Reverend Scott Taylor, with which we began our time together this morning, may we listen again for that longing to repair and be repaired, that hunger to start anew, as we carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. If you're here in the building, come collect some of the seeds up here if you'd like, and please join us in the back for refreshments down the hall, and everyone will see you next Sunday for knitting up the frayed something, something, something.